Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Studio Ghibli Summer. I'm, of course, RussellStarTrek, Jordan by.
The amazing odd boy himself.
And, so we're going to be talking about the second Studio Ghibli movie today. And, Odd Boy, you want to introduce it?
The second movie of Studio Ghibli will be Castle in the Sky, and, holy shit, was it something.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm going to be honest, just to say this right off the bat, I honestly thought when I first heard the title of this movie, I thought it was like a riff on Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds by the Beatles. So, yeah. But then I quickly found out that it is something completely different, and I'm excited to talk about it. So, let's just get right into it. So, Castle in the Sky was released in 1986 with a budget of about $3 million in U.S. money. Domestically in Japan, it made about just over $8 million domestically, or in our money. Worldwide, it made over $60 million. So, pretty good profits, I would say. And again, directed by Hayao Miyazaki,
The legend himself.
Yeah, pretty much. So basically, after the we can say the success of Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, they got straight to working on their next movie. And you could technically call this the first actual Studio Ghibli movie, since it was the first one released under their company. Because obviously Studio Ghibli wasn't a thing by the time that Nausicaa was released in 1984. It was only founded after in 85. You can technically call this the first actual Studio Ghibli movie. And I'm just gonna say this right off the bat. Oh boy, is it a massive improvement over Nausicaa. Like, holy crap.
Like, it is so...
But before we get... go on.
I was gonna say, the quality change is so, noticeable. Like, literally going from Nausicaa to this movie, it's a major step up.
Yeah.
Like, it is unbelievable how, much improvement they were able to make.
So the plot for Castle in the Sky is a young orphan Sheeta, played in the American version by Anna Paquin, and her kidnapper, Colonel Muska, played for the second time, or played by Mark Hamill in his second Studio Ghibli appearance, are flying to a military prison when their plane is attacked by a gang of air pirates led by the Marceline, I don't know, Dala, played by Cloris Leachman. Escaping from a mid-air collision via a magic crystal around her neck, Sheeta meets fellow orphan Pazu, played by James Van Der Beek. And the pair join forces to discover the mystical floating city of Laputa, while pursued by both Muska and the pirates, who lust for the city's myriad treasured.
So
it's
what a plot.
Yeah.
It is definitely
Granted,
better.
it's not as confusing as Nausicaa, because there's like a lot of like subplots going on. But this one, it's just a clean, simple story throughout.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to start with the cast, Odd Boy?
All right. Well, as Russell said earlier, first, Sheeta, played by Anna Paquin. Really great performance, actually.
I mean, yeah, I got really nothing else to say. She does a great job with the material that she is given, and I almost feel like she's British because of half her dialogue. She says it in almost a British way. I'm not trying to say this in any sort of discrimination, not at all, but it does just kind of seem like she's trying to put on an American accent while also struggling at the same time.
Well, apparently she was born in Canada.
That's okay. That's interesting.
Canada, New Zealand.
All right. Um, and then we got Pazu, played by James Van Der Berk, and he's great. I absolutely love Pazu in this movie. He is a uh no like no tough kind of person who just goes in and does what he does to try to save the day, and I fucking love him. And he and Cheetah have a great chemistry between each other.
Oh yeah,
And definitely one of the best sets of main characters in any Studio Ghibli movie. And we're only the second movie in.
yeah.
That's crazy to think about.
It's insane, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, like James did a really great job with Pazu. You know, he made the character amazing, and I loved it overall. But I remember when we were watching it, it's like you stated how like James makes the character sound a lot older than he actually should be.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, yeah, it definitely does work. And yeah, I like this is like a character I can like definitely get behind.
Yeah.
Then we have Dala, played by Cloris Leachman, and I think she does a pretty decent job with the material she's given. She is definitely, her and the pirates as a whole are definitely like some of those people who it's kind of like Nausicaa in a way, where they had like that one faction of like humans that seemed like they were gonna be bad guys at first, but then they just changed to kind of good guys,
Yeah.
I guess. But these ones are like a major example of it, because they started off trying to capture Sheeta. I almost said Lita. But then as the movie goes on, they actually just try to rescue her and work against the military. So you actually go to like them a lot, and for that I do have to actually get the Studio Ghibli credit, because you know, at least that's somewhat different from you know, some other films around that time. And then we have oh, actually, before we move on, what do you think about Dola? I think that's how you say it.
I thought she was a pretty good character. Like, yeah, at the beginning, you think she's the antagonist because of like she's chasing after Sheeta and Pazu, but then, you know, Pazu and Sheeta get to know them, and you know they turn out really enjoyable characters. Honestly,
Yeah, definitely. Then we have Muska, played by Mark Hamill. Like I said earlier, for his second Studio Ghibli appearance, and man, what a performance he gives in this movie.
oh yeah,
I didn't even know it was Mark Hamill until like near the very end of the movie, because
his laugh.
yeah, the laugh gave it away. It's a very Joker laugh. We would usually play the clip here, but you know, Studio Ghibli and their policy with movie clips being shown, so we can't do that. But it's a very Joker laugh. So definitely definitely a good performance. And you know, by the fact that I couldn't even tell it was Mark Hamill until the very end, that shows that he did a good performance, because I couldn't even tell you know, like what he was, so, or which character he was. So yeah, I say props to fucking Mark Hamill. But what did you think about Hamill's interpretation in this movie?
Dude, I thought he did an incredible job in this movie. Like his you know character Muska, you know he's the real antagonist, and Hamill does a great job delivering like the evil in the character. And yeah, especially that end with like the evil laughs, like insanely good. And like you know you know we were watching, and you know you started to hate the character a lot, but you know the fact that you can start to really hate the character and wish like they would be defeated shows how great of a performance Hamill did.
Yeah, because there's some villains that you just feel bad for, which also could be good in some situations. But then you just have villains like you just don't care for, and that's where the issue comes in. But yeah, Mark Hamill does a fantastic job with the performance that he's given.
Incredible.
Yeah, quite literally. Then we have Uncle Pom, played by Richard Dysart, or no, Desart, I
Dysart.
think. No, because the Y I think he's supposed to be an E, so Desart. But I think he did all right. He doesn't really appear much throughout the movie. I think when he appears like really at the beginning, and then
That's
you
it.
just never hear about him again.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, what do you think about Uncle Pom?
I thought for the time he had, which it was only a couple minutes, but like for the time he had, I thought that Richard did great with Uncle Pom because Pom's like those one of those characters where it's one of those old wise characters just giving the main character support and like advice, and I think for his scene, pretty much his only scene, I thought it was pretty well done.
Mm-hmm. I definitely have to agree. Then we have the general, the military general that kind of works under Muska until like the very end. He's played by Jim Cummings, who if you
Interesting
guys,
name. Interesting name
yeah,
nonetheless.
God damn it.
What else were you expecting?
But if you guys don't know, he is a talented voice actor, kind of like Frank Welker in the previous in Nausicaa. That being, I think he did do the voice for fuck, what's the fucking what's the evil lion's name in Lion King? Scar. That's what his fucking name was. Yeah, I think he voiced him as well as like a whole bunch of other Disney characters. So he's definitely got a good range under his belt. But yeah, what do you think about the general in the film?
Well, I thought it was a solid performance overall. It's like we don't really care for the general that much. But Jim's Jim's acting as the general, I thought it was okay overall. Nothing really special.
Yeah. And then I think these last three, Charles, Louis, and Henry, are some of the pirates. I think.
Yeah, they're the pirates.
For, yeah. They're all right. It's really just comic relief.
Yeah, and I do gotta say, those three being the comic relief, I actually laughed at their scenes.
Yeah, yeah. Whereas like Mito or I guess yeah, it's Mito because there's an I in there from from Nausicaa. Yeah, he does have like funny moments throughout, but they weren't like explicitly supposed to be comic relief. Which that film didn't really need it, but like that he definitely brought some like levity, like some hope, I guess. But yeah, these three are definitely supposed to be comic relief characters, and while most of the time that wouldn't really work, this time it actually does. So definitely got to give them props for actually making the characters work.
Yeah.
Did
you skip
what?
one of the voice actors? Like you went from general to like the three pirates.
Oh yeah, no, I know the boss, but I didn't even really recognize him.
Oh, so like the big dude who like challenged I think it was Charles. It's like the big guy who ripped his shirt. Yeah, apparently that's the boss. He doesn't get a lot.
Oh, it was that guy.
Yeah.
At the very beginning, like the guy that works in like the boiler, I think.
No, not that.
Or is that someone else? Oh no. Okay, no, it's a part of the pirates. I'm an idiot.
Well, I was gonna. It's like the dude who is like outside his shop and like he's very comically fighting one of the pirates, like while Pazu and Sheeta run away to the tracks.
Yeah, is that like the one with like the overalls and stuff?
Yeah, he's the one with the overalls. Let me
well,
see.
Yeah. He was in the he's in the boiler.
Is he in the? Am I
thinking?
Like
at the very beginning, like when you first meet Pazu or Pazu, and like he's working in the boiler room. Yeah, it's that guy.
I didn't realize they were the same character.
Really?
Maybe I'm just tripping or something. Wait, I'm gonna just send you a picture, but like Is it that same dude?
Let me look at this. Yeah, it's that guy. Yeah, he's in the boiler room.
Oh shit, I'm a fucking idiot then. I just watched it and I never realized that. I guess that says something about me.
I mean, granted, like if I'm wrong about this, Aboy in editing would just put it up here. But yeah, I think he's in the same like he's the same guy that's like in the boiler room that's telling like, hey, fix like watch the elevator. So yeah. But yeah, I think he did all right with kind of like the uncle guy. He has a very small role. But yeah. I guess to move on to favorite scenes, which we did actually forget to do in the Nausicaa review. So we're gonna do that real quick here and kind of explain our favorite scenes in that. Well, in both that and for Castle in the Sky.
Well, I mean,
I was gonna say, like, did you have any favorite scenes from Nausicaa?
I was gonna say it's like I'm not sure if I really have a favorite scene from Nausicaa because like compared to Castle in the Sky, where I can list off a whole bunch of great scenes I loved, I can't really think of one from Nausicaa. Maybe I'll let you go, and I could probably.
I can think of one. It's the when Nausicaa and I forgot what the guy's name is. The Shia LaBeouf, the person that's played by voice acted by Shia LaBeouf. They get like sucked into that quicksand, and they get like underneath the insect area, I guess, or like the insect world, and it's like that beautiful kind of like matte painting of like the green or the like bluish green underground area. That was beautiful. So if we could pull up a screenshot, then yeah, here you go. But yeah, that was my favorite scene in Nausicaa. But oh boy, does Castle in the Sky fucking beat it by a mile.
Yeah, it's not even a competition at this point.
I think definitely the most memorable scene for me. Well, memorable scenes in general. The chase at the beginning, like through the town, like on the like through the town, and when like they start like beating each other up, and then onto the train tracks with the train, and then heading on the ground. That was a good scene. What else? I would say just entire movie, really, because I was just so captivated. Granted, I could say the same about Nausicaa, but like that, I think it was just more trying to understand the plot. Whereas this, I was just hooked throughout.
Yeah, it's like you can get a quick understanding of the basic plot, and you're just like you're just hooked on for like the rest of the whole movie.
So I can't really pick favorite scenes from this because it's like the whole fucking movie. But if I had to choose one, I know Franco's gonna say the exact same thing. It's the lightning storm scene where basically they're trying to find our heroes with the pirates, and they're trying to find the island of Lapita, and they're going for this freak windstorm, and it's crazy, and eventually our main characters get disconnected from the pirates as their ship gets attacked. So they're heading towards this big cloud, which they think is Lapita, and turns out it is. But as they're flying through it, they're going through this massive lightning storm. And as they're going through it, we get this wonderful shot where I think it's only like a couple minutes long of Pazu opening his eyes in the lightning storm. And but I guess to kind of address it, Pazu's kind of goal throughout the entire movie is to try and show that the city, the floating island of Lapita is real, because his father took one picture of it and no one really believed him, and it caused him to commit suicide. So Pazu kind of wants to like make sure to tell everyone that like with proof that the floating island is real, so that he's not like his father. And he as he's going for this lightning storm, he sees a vision of his father in his original blimp heading towards the island. And it's nothing. I think you don't hear anything. You don't even hear the lightning. I think you hear one piece of dialogue from Pazu, and the rest of it is just visuals. And holy fuck, was it amazing!
Yeah, the visual,
the animation of the lightning, the clouds, the fact that they made it look like Pazu's father was a ghost, pretty much. It was all fantastic. So yeah, if I had to pick one, it would definitely be the lightning storm scene. Obviously, we're gonna try and throw screenshots throughout to kind of bring home the point. But if we can't, obviously, then you just gotta take our word on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely my favorite scene. If I had to pick one, that's definitely my favorite scene in the entire movie. But what about you, boy?
So I have two favorite scenes. If I had to pick some, it's like one of them's kind of like for comic relief, but then the other one's kind of like more visual and character related. So for the comic relief, my favorite scene would probably have to be the scene where Pazu and Sheeta are on top of like the airship, like they're talking to each other. They're talking to each other, and Dola and like the pirates can hear through like the pipe things. And at first it's just Dola, so it's not much, but it really starts to show, I guess, Dola kind of care a little bit more for these two kids, and it starts to, and it's like a nice deep conversation between the two main characters. But the thing that caught me so off guard, as well as Russell, is, yeah, at first it just seems like Dola, but then it cuts to like the pirates also listening, and they're gathered around, like they're listening to this, and then we were just dying laughing. It's like that was
Yeah, we were just sitting there like, fucking really?
Yeah.
Like, it makes sense for Paula to be listening onto them because she has to communicate. Like it is like obviously she needs to communicate with them somehow if they're all the way up there. But at the same time, she's the fucking captain.
Yeah.
Realistically, if you think it's not okay, it doesn't really matter because she's the fucking captain. But it's just weird that all the rest of the other pirates are listening on their conversation, and especially with a scene. I think that's before. Or no, wait, is it before or after they they're all getting like mesmerized by Lita or Sheeta? God damn it!
I think this is after.
After I kind of figured it was after. But yeah, it was such a weird scene throughout.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then my other favorite scene, which is more visual and more character, is the scene where Pazu and Sheeta first land on Laputa, and you get to see, the characters finally made it to like this mysterious land that we've been waiting to see, and it's also a moment that I generally love, like just seeing Pazu and she just have a good time while they can before all the chaos they have to deal with later, and it's just great to see the two be together. And there is a part where they're like laying down on the grass, and then they're so happy, and then they look in the sky, and then the next scene their face is just like, what?
It's not even the next scene, it's legit like the shot after that. It's like they're laughing, and then it cuts to the sky, and it cuts back to them, and they're just staring.
Yeah, and
straight up at it.
And I remember like when me and Russell were watching this, and when they were laying down with the happy faces, Russell's like, shit, I forgot what you said exactly.
Oh yeah, that was happening. Like I was like, man, I can really see them being a couple, and then boom,
and then
right on that shot,
and then that just made it so much funnier. But besides that, it's still a really enjoyable scene for me.
Yeah. I think if we're before we go into the fun facts, let's definitely talk about the music because
holy shit, it's awesome.
This is a big part about the movie. So you know how we said that last time that while it had orchestral pieces for Nausicaa, most of the soundtrack was basically just 80s tech and synth kind of like disco music. And for most of the scenes that it played over, it didn't really fit well with the tone that like most of the scenes were trying to give out. But with this movie, they go with kind of the same approach, but they did heavily tweak it, and it absolutely fucking works for this. Because the thing about this movie is that they actually made the synth music actually trying to be like emotional when it needs to be. like obviously there's orchestral pieces throughout, and they do work great. But overall, like the score fits with every single scene that it's accompanied, and um, it absolutely works with like with the music works well with the visuals, and that's something that I couldn't really give Nausicaa kind of the point for. Like, while it had good piece of music, the majority of it just did not fit well with the overall tone of the film itself. Whereas this, it's very consistent. Where it's like, if it's happy, then it's a happy piece of music. When it's sad, it's a sad piece of music. And when it's an action piece, it goes really well with the synth, and it fucking works
Yeah.
so hard. So that's definitely 1 point for Castle in the Sky. You actually use synth music right. But do you want to say anything about the what's his face about the music?
Like, going from Nausicaa, like you said, overall, it's fine, but the techno music just kind of pretty much just dulls it down, and it doesn't fit at all. This, however, works so much better, and holy shit, the music, oh my god, man. I could not stop listening to the music. Like, I loved it a lot. Like,
if you guys could seriously try and find the soundtrack either for YouTube or SoundCloud or wherever, I highly recommend listening to the music for this film, because holy shit, it's some of the best anime music I've ever heard in a film ever.
Especially the end credits music. I love that one a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely like one of those movies where you kind of sad that it's over because of how, like, the journey that you had, and it was just so great.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But now we're gonna go over to the two fun facts that we obviously have, and the first one is did you know that the original score was reworked for this film? Yeah, so with I think you say Joe Hisahara's. I'm sorry if I butchered any of the names. His original score for Castle in the Sky was clocked at only 39 minutes. The composer was hired to flesh out his score in the movie's English language re-release, with music eventually taking up around 90 minutes of the movie's 2-hour running time. Additionally, the score was reworked to focus more heavily on its orchestral elements, downplaying the more prevalent synthesizers found in the original version. While this was done to make the movie more appealing to Western audiences, the move was also heavily criticized by some, who claimed that the silence accompanying several of the movie's scenes were key to its emotional and was key to its emotion and atmosphere, instead coming off more bombastic in the English dub of the movie. We personally, obviously, we watched the English dub for this and not the original Japanese version, although that actually kind of makes me want to go and watch the Japanese version after this. Like, obviously they knew where the line was to be, like, okay, we should add music here and here, but maybe not here. Like I said, with the lightning storm scene that I mentioned as like my favorite scene, there is no music throughout that. It is you actually don't hear anything except for one piece of dialogue, or like I think even just like a from Pazu, and that's it. There's no music throughout that, and it sells it so hard. So they knew where to cut it off at. But for me personally, I think the music does definitely help with it does definitely help with kind of more of the music added in on top. Although, granted, like I said, I personally haven't seen the Japanese version, so I can't really make a point on that. But if I do, I would definitely I'll make like an update about that. Fun fact number 2 is that, did you know that for the American version, Pazu and Shita's age was bumped up by a few years? Yeah, so apparently in the original Japanese version, both Pazu and Shita were intended to be preteens, falling right in the line with Studio Ghibli's tendency to tell stories centered on younger characters. Since Western audiences generally lean towards older protagonists, however, both characters were aged up to be in their mid-teens, though their exact age is never explicitly stated throughout the movie. Anna Paquin and James Van Der Berg's voiceovers clearly reflect this fact, with the choice being an intentional decision on Disney's part. So yeah, basically all the English dubs for most of the Studio Ghibli movies that we're going to be talking about were headed by Disney, because they did initially own the rights to Studio Ghibli, or just to release Studio Ghibli movies in America until about 2016, 2017, when Shout Factory bought the rights from them. So, yeah. But, Franco, before we move on to, the end, do you know when this English dub was made? Or, no?
I'll look it up right now, but I think for most of the English dubs for Studio Ghibli, I think, especially the ones from Disney, I think most of them were made in like the 2000s. But
Yeah, I kind of figured.
because I think there was I think there was a 2000. It was like either early or mid 2000s when this one.
Yeah,
I'm checking right now.
I'm gonna say like 2005, 2006.
Somewhere around that, I think.
Yeah, I would say so, at least. But yeah, I think definitely aging them up makes sense for for me, at least, for the context of some of the situations that they get into.
Yeah,
because the pre-teams, it makes like, I mean, yeah, I get that's fiction, so you're just supposed to disband your belief to some things, but at the same time, realistically, no preteens would be able to do some of the shit that they do in this movie. But teens, it kind of makes a little bit more sense, and plus, I feel like you can kind of follow them a little bit more, being like, no, I'm actually gonna go out and like do this. Because if they were preteens, they would be more like, okay, shoot. I guess.
All right, I just checked, and this was actually 2003.
Yeah. Okay. So a little bit early.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I think that's pretty much about it. So Franco, what are your final thoughts of Castle in the Sky?
Incredible movie, and I guess for right now, we're still in the second. We're still only in just the second Studio Ghibli movie, but it's definitely one of the best ones I've ever watched so far.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, what an experience we had.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah, it's definitely one of the best Studio Ghibli movies I've ever watched. And I don't think it could be beat, but not by a lot of them, I think.
Yeah, we still got a long way to go, but for right now, this it's way too damn good, man.
Mm-hmm. So what would you give this movie out of what would you rank this movie? I almost got you doing. Wow. What would you give what would be your letter grading for Castle in the Sky?
A+. I think it is near perfect. Like the pacing was pretty well done. You had a lot of enjoyable characters. Soundtrack is amazing, and visuals are super stunning, man. Especially like the hurricane scene where like in the lightning. That just that was just something else, man. It was holy shit, man.
Yeah, so for me personally, I'm gonna give this film a ranking of an A, like a solid A. It nearly got an A+, but I think, oh yeah, because obviously the same thing as what Franco said. The pacing is fantastic, almost pretty much perfect. The characters, you absolutely like or hate them, and that's for the characters themselves, that's pretty great. Music, fantastic. Animation, fucking superb for a 1986 movie.
Yeah, this is 1986.
The only issue I could say, oh yeah, 1986, and yet this looks like something that you would see in like mid 2000s.
It is crazy.
But the only issue I would say that I have with the movie, and this could be nitpicking, you know, people could go on and say, you know, oh, you're nitpicking about this. I think the way that they handled the reveal and like execution of the floating island is kind of poor, and I'll explain why. Overall, I think that like the legend, like the way that they explain it, and how like it's this mythical island that like almost everyone thinks is a legend, and yet like some people have actually seen it. That's great, and the whole quest to find it, I love that. I think the problem comes in for me when they try to. It kind of just seems like they rushed to try and show like, oh yeah, this is the island, because we only get to the island and we only spend like it's like the last maybe half an hour of the movie.
Yeah,
You know,
take that.
so it kind of just feels like that. Like they could have done more with it, but they were like restricted with what they could do, so they kind of have to kind of rush through it. To kind of just be like, you know, like okay, we got to end this thing. So that's my only real complaint with the movie. But honestly, other than that, like again, that could be purely nitpicking on my end. But overall, I did really enjoy myself with this, and yeah, that's why I'm giving this movie an A, because it nearly got an A plus. I feel like an A plus would be like for me, that's perfect. That's an absolutely perfect movie. A plus, or I give this movie an A just because I think that the execution of actually showing off the floating island of Laputa is a bit rushed. But there's still like the scene that you mentioned about like how when they first land on it and how they're just mesmerized by it. That's still great. Like I'm not saying that that's bad at all. It just feels like they kind of need to like go like really quick about it, because it's like, oh yeah, shit, we only got like half an hour left in the movie. Like gotta hurry up, come on. So that's my only real complaint about the movie. But again, it could just be nitpicking at that point. But yeah, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Studio Ghibli Summer. And wow, yeah, like I said, what a way to just jump up in quality. Like, holy shit. Yeah, this is definitely a Studio Ghibli movie I will be going back to a lot when I get the chance. Just like Spirited Away. And you know, I'm really excited like to possibly go back and, you know, rewatch it. But Franco, why don't you tell the audience what the next movie we'll be discussing is?
All right. So the next movie that we got is Grave of the Fireflies, released in 1988.
Mm-hmm. That's gonna be a very interesting one.
Now, from what I've heard, from some people I've known, apparently Grave of the Fireflies is a really sad movie.
Yeah. So
I'm only imagining how much I can handle.
God, yeah, that might be an emotional episode to do. But yeah, guys. We'll see you guys next time for our review of Grave of the Fireflies, released in 1988. Of course, go and check out Oddboy's channel on not only YouTube but also on Kick. He does some really great live streams over there. Obviously, also go and check out. Make sure if you like this sort of content, make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell icon to get notified when future videos are coming out. You can also check out these two videos right here if you like that sort of content. You can also check out my channel by clicking the profile picture right here, or just going down to my username down there. Also, in the description, you guys can check out my social media pages: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. That's when you guys will get notified when like videos are coming out, or just about my personal life in general. If you guys want to know my thoughts about these movies before the reviews go up, go and follow me on my Letterboxd page. That's also in the description below. So you know, to kind of get my early thoughts on it, make sure to go and follow me on there. And I also have a Discord server up, so you guys want to go and chat about Studio Ghibli and some other random crap, you can also join there as well. But anyway, guys, we'll see you guys next time for our review of Grave of the Fireflies. We'll see you guys later. Love, long, and prosper. Out.
Later.